Wenn man bei klarem Himmel mal nach oben sieht, dann kann es passieren, dass da solche Streifen am Himmel sind. Woher kommen diese weißen Streifen und was ist es überhaupt? Wenn man sich das näher anschaut, dann sieht man, vor den weißen Streifen fliegt ein Flugzeug. Also haben diese weißen Streifen was mit den Flugzeugen zu tun.
Austin, Texas, I have never seen anything like this. This is frustrating, and I gotta tell you, if this doesn't make you think that there's something wrong, what's going on here, then we've got a serious communication problem here, ladies and gentlemen. We need to start taking a look up what's going on with our skies and start really talking about the real issues, because this is, I've never seen anything quite like this. Absolutely unbelievable.
Nur noch Schnee und dann haben wir noch etwas, was wir nicht als Regen oder Schnee identifizieren können. Hier im Westen diese Schlangenlinien, das haben wahrscheinlich am Nachmittag über der Nordsee ein paar Flugzeuge, Militärflugzeuge rausgebracht und in etwa 5 bis 6 Kilometer Höhe. Hat mit Wetter so nichts zu tun. Hat mit Wetter so nichts zu tun. Ja, wie geht's weiter?
Aircraft making a condensation trail is very similar in many ways to when you go outside on a cold day and exhale. You create a condensation trail. That little cloud is a condensation trail. Now, if you take a 2-mile walk on a cold day and you can turn around and you can see your condensation trail tracking all the way back for 2 miles. That's how crazy it is to think that what we're looking in the sky is actually condensation trail.
Seeing now, and I first could not believe it, and I started looking at the skies, and these are not normal. They're not natural. There's something going on. I don't know who it is or why they're doing it. All I can testify is it's not natural and it's not normal. It's got to be some outside influence doing that. Thank you.
I'm here to give you testimony that chemtrails, they're not contrails, are indeed real. They're spraying almost every day.
many times I've spoken about chemtrails, and I get this blank look on my face. What are you talking about? I'm saying, look up. As a pilot, before I fly, I look up. And so, boy, they're really out there working.
Contrails, not the chemicals, the contrails occur because of cold air, minus 30. It takes a high altitude, around 30,000 feet plus. There's carbon dioxide and water vapor in that exhaust. That turns to ice crystals, and that's what you see, the white stream behind it. Those white crystals of ice warm up, dissolve, and the smoke goes away. And it never lasts more than a minute.
We have clouds in the sky we've never seen before. Almost every day I'm seeing clouds I've never seen before. And NASA has been even named a few of these new clouds. And it's really interesting, but NASA is a corporation. I want you to know that. I watch the clouds and watch the spraying program going on. I want to tell you that we're in very great danger from the pollution that's coming down over us.
The sun, you see a white haze. That is aluminum floating in the air right now, and it's coming from the aircraft.
There's a huge amount of aluminum being found because these sprays have aluminum, strontium, barium, manganese.
I personally tested water and aluminum, and I found aluminum had 47 times the normal expected amounts.
Metal compounds that are being used are environmentally dangerous. We need to be monitoring them. We need to be testing them.
Okay, these previous guys, I've watched exactly what they do, and yes, they are correct. I've seen exactly the same stuff, so ditto marks on those. You want some figures? Okay, latest water test. Tested the rain. 13,100 micrograms per liter of aluminum in the rain in 2013. Normally, it should be 0. So 13,100 is pretty damn much, folks. It used to be 0, then it was 100s in the 2000s. And then since 2010, it's into the 1000s and the latest 13,100. In the snow on Mount Shasta, pristine Mount Shasta, 61,000 micrograms per liter, 4 times the amount that is found in the soil up there. Where in the hell is this stuff coming from if it's not coming from the soil? These tests are international in scope. We're seeing this all over the world, guys.
There's a lot of argument that aluminum is very common to be found, but aluminum is only common in a bonded form. It's not common in a free form, and we're finding high rates of free aluminum in the soil, which is not natural. We've been able to take the aluminum and micronize it, which means it'll stay up longer. But it also means you inhale that, it goes up through your cribriform plate and through your sinuses and into the brain.
I want to give you a little bit of history on the background behind nanoparticles has been described before. A nanometer is 1/1000th of a meter. It's very small. In fact, if you have particles, say, that are 40 or 50 nanometers across, you can take and line 50 of them up next to a single red blood cell. These things are extremely tiny. They're pervasive.
We got things coming from sky down, and it's a huge, huge problem. Because as it comes down, what happens is a couple of things. It actually is in our air, we breathe it. And as we breathe it, it's actually going to go up through our nostrils, into our brain, easiest access to our brain frontal lobe. The contaminants that have been identified, which already been mentioned, are aluminum. Aluminum is the #1 free radical generator to the brain to cause early apoptosis.
As you heard, to spray nanoparticles, very small particles. These nanoparticles, they basically trigger a programmed cell death in the brain, and that is the ultimate path we see in Alzheimer's.
That's problem #1, because when we look at the Alzheimer issue, we say those are the old.
The collapse and decrease of agriculture is something I worry about even more than the previous info about autism and Alzheimer's.
When this stuff settles down out of the air into the environment, it is small enough to be absorbed through the root structure of the trees in the forest.
Believe me, I'm seriously concerned with what I'm watching. As a wildlife biologist, I've been watching the ecosystem collapse.
Sex basically made a nosedive in 2006 to about 20% of normal. So far this year, I've sampled 200 trout stomachs. 98% of them are empty.
Stream organisms, when you have aluminum overload in your streams, you're killing your microbial bacteria and you're disrupting the entire ecosystem. So it goes way beyond just a little bit of pollution.
The terrestrial sampling is down to about 20% of normal, except for pest species like ants. We're seeing a loss of the major bird species, and as the gentleman said, the ecosystem is unraveling, and Audubon's been telling you that for years.
How did Monsanto know to create aluminum-resistant plants? I don't think I've heard anybody ask that question.
Okay, pH of acid soils is 20 times more alkaline. The aluminum in the soil has doubled in the last 10 years. I am unable in my garden to restore normal pH, and that's because nanoparticles are now in the circulatory systems of both plants and humans.